Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back, students. So we are on online lecture number 6 of the programming fundamentals course. Today, inshallah, we are going to start a new topic that is called C++ functions. Now, we people were waiting for this important topic because without functions, it is very difficult to manage a large program. So we have to divide a large program into small modules or functions, so it is easier to read, easier to manage, and easier to understand. So we are going to study C++ functions. uh, um, in this lecture we are going to talk a lot about the theoretical part, and inshallah in lecture 7 we are going to do a lot of practical work. So and today, objectives are we are going to learn about the standard predefined function and discover how to use them in a program. So there are two types of function: the standard predefined function or the built-in function, and the user-defined function. User-defined functions are written by by you people, whereas the built-in or predefined functions are provided by the C++ programmers whenever you install a C++ IDE. So we are going to learn about the user defined functions, examine value returning function including actual and formal parameters, explore how to construct and use a value returning user defined function in a program. So I'm going to turn on the clock because it is important to know about the timings. Okay, so with that we move on. Functions are in fact are like a building blocks, so they are very important. When you write a larger program, you do not write that larger program using only one functions. You like use many functions, so in order to write a large complex program. Uh, so then it is easier to manage it, understand it, and then change it. So there are a lot of advantages of user functions or dividing your large program or complex program into smaller functions. So you have like seen many software just like Microsoft Word. So Microsoft Word is a large software, but it is built by the combination of smaller functions like save as, print, copy, paste. So all of these are functions, and functions perform only one specific task. So function allow complicated programs to be divided into manageable pieces. Some of the advantages of functions are, while working on one function, you can focus on just that part of the program and construct it, debug it and perfect it. Different people can work on different functions simultaneously. If a function is needed in more than one place in a program or in different program, you can write it once and then use it many times. So these are the great advantages of using functions in your programs. Functions are in some other languages also referred as modules or methods. Whatever you call it, it doesn't matter, but in C++ we call it functions. Functions are like miniature small programs. They can put together to form a larger program. So I think now you have understand why functions are important. We are going to discuss more about functions in a step-by-step function as a manner. So we also have like standard predefined functions. We have functions in mathematics as well. So in college algebra, a function, you remember that in college algebra you have learned a function. So function is defined as a rule or a correspondence between value called the function argument and the unique value of the function associated with the argument. So for example, this is a function f of x is equal to 2x plus 5. So what does that mean? So x is missing here, so you can put the value of x as 1. So f of 1, then f of 1 become 7, f of 2 become 9, and f of 3 become 11. So this as x makes this f function a generic function. So whatever is the value inserted for this x, so the function will return values depending on the value of this variable x. So 1, 2, 3 are called arguments, whereas 7, 9, 11 are the corresponding values of the functions. So Normally in C++, functions are divided into two categories. One is predefined standard functions, they are also called built-in functions, and you have user-defined functions. So both are important, both are used in C++ programming, and it is very vital that you have a sound, complete understanding of these concepts. So we have predefined functions. Some of the predefined mathematical functions are like absolute, square root, and power. So absolute function will give you the absolute value of x, whereas the square root function will give you the square root of x, and the power will give you x to the power y. The power functions are written as in C++ POW, and in parentheses you give the argument x and y. Calculate x power y, that is the value of power of x comma y is equal to x power y. So for example, what is the power 2 comma 3? It means 2 to the power 3, which is 8. Power POW 2.5 comma 3, so the result will be 2.5 raised to the power 3, which is 15.625. So these are the built-in functions that you can directly used in your C++ program. The function power is of type double, or that the function power returns a value of a type double. So remember, function will return a value of type double. So double mean it will have a decimal point, just as you see in these two examples. X and y are called the parameters. You can also, usually they are called arguments, but it doesn't matter, it depends upon you, whatever you like. So x and y are called parameter or argument of the function POW. Function power has two parameters, so one is the base and other one is the exponent. All right, so then we have another built-in function which is called the square root function, written as sqrt of x. Calculate the non-negative square root of x. So for x should be greater than and equal to 0.0. So for example, what is the square root of 2.25? It is 1.5. So the function square root is of type double and has only one parameter. So remember, you cannot give two parameters to it, because it will calculate only it will give you the square root of only one value. The floor function, once again, is another built-in function written as floor in C++. Floor calculates the largest whole number that is not greater than x. So for example, we have floor of 48.78. So floor of 48.78 is 79 is 48.0. The function floor is of type double and has only one parameter. In C++, predefined functions are organized, or they are stored into separate libraries. IO functions such as see in, say out are contained in a header file called IOStream. Math functions are contained or stored in a header file called cmath. Similarly, we have string function, they are stored or contained in the string header file. So this is the list of different built-in functions: absolute, ceil, cos, exponent, f, absolute, floor, power, to lower, to upper. So this is the standard library of these functions: ctd, lib, cmath, 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 cc type, and then this is the purpose. Like this function, absolute function, return the absolute value of its argument. So absolute of -7 is 7. So parameter type is int and return type is also int. Similarly, we have the different parameters, input parameters and the resultant parameters, data type for these different built-in functions. I hope it is clear to you, but still if you have some problem, you can ask me on the Google group. Remember to implement all these built-in functions in your program. It is because only if you implement these functions, you are going to have a better understanding of them. So here is an example of a C++ example, which you can just copy and paste. How to use a predefined function. So we are including IOStream header file, cmath header file, cc type header file. Remember why we use cc type header file? In order to use these two functions, to lower, to upper. And then we have cs TDLIB function, built-in function. This is used to use the absolute built-in function. So remember, absolute built-in function is contained or stored or defined in this header file, whereas ceil, cos, exponent, f absolute, floor, power are contained or stored in CMath header file, and 2 lower and 2 upper are contained in CC type header file. And then we have the standard namespace std, which store the different types of objects for us or different types of libraries. So here we are defining an integer variable x, and then we have two double variables u and v. So in this line, cout line number 1, uppercase is, you can just write static cast. We are converting this like 2 upper of a to character value. So 2 upper of a will give you 2 upper, it will like convert a into the capital letter, and then it will cast it to the character, a is a character, and then it will display that value. So similarly, we assign two values to u and v, 4.2 and 3.0. So in line number 4, what we are doing, we are like displaying first the value of u to the power of v, which is 3.0. So power of uv will be 4.2 to the power of 3. So whatever is the answer will be displayed to you. And in line number 5, 5 to power of 4, you can write it as power 5 comma 4. So it will give you 5 to the power 4. So whatever is the answer will be displayed to you on your monitor screen. So this is how we have used the power function to upper function, and similarly this program is continued on the next slide. You can also write u assignment operator u plus power of 3 comma 3. So it will provide you the power of 3 to the power 3, and then it will add the result to u and assign it to you, and then you can like display the value of u in this line. Similarly, if we have the value of x as minus 15, so in line number 9 you can get the absolute value of x by using a built-in predefined function abs of x. So it will return the value of 15 to you. So here are the output. So in line number 1, uppercase of a is the letter a. So static cast character was used to cast a to into or convert it into the character variable. Then in line number 4, 4.2 to the power of 3 is 74.088. Similarly, in line number 5, we displayed 5 to the power 4 is 625. And at line number 7, this was that line, what we did, we just displayed the value of u, which is power of 3 to the power 3 plus u, which is 31.2. And then as I told you, absolute value of minus 15 is 15 provided by this absolute function. So very easy, like go and copy this example and run it on CodeBox, then you will have a very sound understanding of what is happening in this program. You can also like run the other programs, like you can also test the other built-in functions. So this is your assignment to test all these built-in functions, and inshallah after the online classes I am going to ask you about all these built-in functions, and they are also included in your mid and final exam. And then we have another type of functions called user-defined functions. The user-defined functions are there because a lot of time user is faced by a problem and he or she writes a solution for that problem. So that solution or that functions become a user-defined functions. And further we have two types of user-defined function: value returning function that have a data type, and a void function that do not have a data type. So value returning function will return some value to you. For example, if you said integer add 5 and 5, so because the return type is integer, so it will return the whatever is the addition of 5 plus 5, so it will return the value 10. And we have void function. So void function just executes some statement and they do not return anything. Okay, so let us first discuss value returning function. Some predefined C++ function are power is lower is to upper. These are value returning functions. There are These are all example of value returning functions. To use these function in our program, we must know the name of the header files containing the specification of functions, include their header file in our program using the include statement, and the name of the function, the number of parameters if any, the data type of each parameter, and data type of the value computed, that is the value returned by the function, called the type of the function. So it may look very difficult for you, but I hope that when you run a program, it will become very easy, and we are going to discuss these function again and again. For I think 3 to 4 lecture we are going to discuss these functions because they are very important in practical programming. So do not worry about what are functions and how to write them. Since the value returned by a value returning function is unique, the natural thing that we do with this value with a value is save the value for further calculation, use the value in some calculation, print the value. A value returning function is either used in an assignment statement or in an output statement such as cout. In addition to the previous four properties, there is one more thing that is associated with the function. The code is required to accomplish the task. The first four properties form what is called the heading of the function. The fifth property is called the body of the function. So we have the function declaration and then the body of function. Altogether, these five properties form what is called the definition of the function. For predefined function, we only need to be concerned with the first four properties, not the fifth, because in predefined function we do not have to use or write the body of a function. All right, so for the function absolute, the heading might look like, so this is absolute function. If you are writing a user defined function, for example, and that is an absolute function, so this could be the heading int, and the name of the function int number, and the function absolute might have the following definition. So this is the heading and this is the definition. If number is less than this, so assign the negative number. If it is less, so then negative will be multiplied by negative and you will get a positive number if it is less than, and then it will return, so negative number become a positive number. So absolute will always give you a positive number. So this opening and closing curly brace will give you it is the body of the functions. The variable declared in the heading of the function absolute is called the formal parameter. So this is called the formal parameter of the function absolute. The formal parameter of the function is number. So remember, if you write a user-defined function, it has a heading and it has a body. Together, heading and body makes a function definition. You can also call this heading as function declaration. So suppose that the heading of the function power is, so this is heading return type power, one parameter called double base and the other parameter called double exponent. The formal parameter of powers are base and exponent. So if you declare three variables u, v and x and assign them the value of 2.5, 3.0, and then declare three variable x, y and w, and then if you write x power uv, so you are passing the value of u to base and the value of v to the exponent. Similarly, if you write y assignment operator power 2.0 comma 3.2, so you are passing the value 2.0 to base and the value 3.2 to the exponent. Similarly, when you write w assignment operator power u comma 7, so you are passing the value of u to the base, or you are copying this value to the base variable, whereas 7 goes inside exponent. So these are the arguments uv 2.0 comma 3.2 u and 7, whereas base and exponent are the parameters. So remember, these are the arguments and these are parameter. Arguments are passed, whereas parameter catches the argument value. So this is again the same explanation In line number 1, the function power is called with the parameter u and v. The value of u and v are passed to the function power. The value of u is copied into the base and the value of v is copied into the exponent. The variable u and v that appears in the call to a function power is in line 1 is also are also called actual parameter of that call. In line number 2, the function power is called with parameter 2.0 and 3.2. The value 2.0 is copied into the base, whereas the value 3.2 is copied into exponent. In this call of the function power, the actual parameters are 2.0 and 3.2 respectively. In line number 3, the actual parameter of function power are u and 7. The value of u is copied to the base and 7 is copied into the exponent, just as I explained in the previous slide. So I think we should stop here, and inshallah I will meet you in the next lecture. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.